Hello, hello, and welcome to A Life More Boaty. We are here today down at Cobbs, Quay and Poole. Nice close to home video for me, which makes a pleasant change. To have a look at this really incredibly well spec'd Beneteau Antares 11. Now, Beneteau have been building boats for the best part of 140 years, so they really do know what they're doing, and they've got some fantastically clever design ideas. And as I mentioned, this is a really high spec boat. It comes with a Seakeeper 2, which I'm fairly confident this is probably the only one with a Seakeeper 2. So let's have a quick look on board. If we start externally, you can see we have the little pontoon extensions to give you a bathing platform round these two engines, and again, you can probably see we've got a couple of Mercury Verados. Now these are 300s, which is going to give you 600 horsepower, which pretty much I think is the maximum horsepower they allow for this hull. And that's going to give you a cruising speed very close to 40 knots, depending on obviously people and weight on board. But realistically, I think they quote about 38 knots as a max speed, with a lovely comfortable cruise of 22 knots. While we're outside, we want to have a quick look. You've got a folding side deck there, and we'll look at this a bit more when we're on board, but really neat to see this side access gate as well. Now, while we're externally talking about superstructure, you can get this if you want as a flybridge variant, but this particular one, as you can see, we're looking at here is the sedan version, or the saloon. So swim ladder out there, and again great to see they've got a swim handle, so you can actually grab hold of something as you're pulling yourself out of the water. Cleats, fuel and water on the back here, and this quite clever mechanism where you can slide the seats backwards and forwards. So if you drop the engines down in the water, you'll notice straight away here there's a track here, and that gives you the ability, with the engines down in the water, to push that entire seat mechanism back. So it effectively follows the run of this seating right the way around here. That then gives you more deck space in here, and if you want to, you can then drop the back section down there and make a big sun cushion out of that. So here you go, engines drop down. Like so, and you can see now that how that frees up this space at the back, which then allows us to slide this seat back. There you go, like that, pretty straightforward. And then if we come back into the cockpit, you can see that that has now given us a lot more deck space, and then matches those cushions. So that seat now runs the whole way around there, and that table that we'll look at when we go on board plugs in there, and you can either have it running that way or you can have it running that way. Equally, you'll notice there's a little cubby space there for odds and sods, but equally that can be for a life raft. And hidden up here, you can see the starter rails for the zip-in section that you can put right the way across the back here and fill this entire section with canvas. So you can have this completely dry, and there is an option on the newer versions, or the new version, if you want to make that a sliding sunroof rather than a hard top. But in this instance, they've got solar panels on the roof to run the Seakeeper, which we'll look at a bit later. So while we're outside, we will just have a quick wander around the decks. Actually, I might take a step back. Look, you can see here's the clip out sections for that deck. That drops down, and that just gives you a really good extension and makes this whole back entertaining space that little bit bigger. We walk forwards. Again, design feature of the boat is asymmetric decks. So this deck, as you can see, is dropped down and is wider, which we'll have a look at the other deck as we go forward. One step up takes you straight away to the access door for the helm, and you can see there's that side door there. So straight out of the helm, through the side door, you have access to the midships cleat, and then you can effectively cleat yourself off really quickly on this side of the pontoon. A couple of little steps up takes you to the foredeck. Again, really nice wide bow and wide foredeck. Sun cushions in here, and then there's a bimini as well, so you can protect yourself from the sun. Right the way forward, you can see we have cleats, anchor locker down here, Lumar anchor winch in there, and then chain locker and a controller in there. There is also a remote control on the dash for that anchor winch as well. And then looking back, you can see beautiful one-piece windscreen, a couple of decent wipers, and also you'll notice on the roof here forward we have two sliding hatches. we'll have a look at the solar panels on the way back. But if we go back round this side, you'll notice much narrower side deck, and it isn't dropped, but it does give you the ability to go all the way around. And when we're up here, you can see Simrad enclosed radar, and we'll just nip back down the same side deck just because it's that bit easier. Handrails follow you all the way along, and there is, as you can see here, grab rails up here. There's a closer view of those two sunroofs, and if I stick the camera up high, you can see back there those solar panels. And as I mentioned, those solar panels are running the Seakeeper, which is in there, and we'll have a look at that on the way out. So going back to the interior space, nice 3-piece sliding patio door set. Takes you inside to this rather lovely diner area and entertaining space. And the beautiful thing about this is because it's got effectively double glazed sliding patio doors and glazing all the way around, if it's a really horrible day, or if you're in a sort of northern climate country, you can effectively big glazing sections all the way around, opening window on the port side, and as we mentioned, you've got that side deck door on the starboard side, and now you can see those skylights in here that open and slide back. So that one is uncovered, and this one has got this sunshade or sun cover in here, but you can slide it the other way and have a fly screen in there as well if you want. And this is really impressive. So there isn't storage underneath here because that is headspace for the cabin below, but this is probably the easiest to operate flip dining to navigation seat I've ever done. So it's really hard sometimes to do with one hand, but here we go. Oh, he says. And there you go. We now have a navigation seat with space down there, grab handle, and a really good view forward. There's this little crown line offers out of Cobbs Quay. Fold it back, sticking with what we're doing, nice and simple. Fold it back, and you've now got your dining space again. And that dining space, quite logically, faces the galley up layout we have here. Nice Quay on worktop, and the usual bins and storage you'd expect around here. Fridge in this one, like so, and then under here we have microwave, and then under the glass cover here we have a Kenyan electric grill and a nice stainless steel pop-out tap and a couple of cup holders in there. And again, benefiting from all of this glazing. So a couple of steps forward is the helm station, helm seat. Again, underneath here, a little bit more storage, crockery and glasses. And if I just turn myself around here, you can see standard Beneteau helm seat with a pop-up bolster, and lever here gives you the ability to slide that backwards and forwards. And also, I believe there is a step you can put in here to fill that in so you can stand up, but I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am. And then here's our helm station. Really, really good spec this boat. As I say, comes with a bow thruster, fusion stereo, the really, really fantastic zip wake automatic trim tab system. So that basically, as the boat's going along, if the wind's blowing the boat to one side, those trim tabs will automatically balance it out. Really, really decent size Simrad, as you can see here, GPS navigation system, which includes the radar. Then there's the engine control system for the Mercuries, throttle controllers, Seakeeper system down here, and then the joystick controller for the Mercury outboards. Now this is really neat for a number of reasons. One, because it gives you the ability to control the boat just by twisting the joystick. If you want to hold it on the pontoon, you can push it that way, and you can rotate the boat on its axis, push it sideways. It also has Skyhook. So Skyhook is a really brilliant system. So if you're coming into the pontoon, so let's say you're coming onto this pontoon and you want to hover the boat just over there to get the fenders on board or outboard, push Skyhook and it holds you in exactly the position you are, using the engines and automatically including the bow thruster to hold you exactly where you want to be. So you can move around the boat doesn't move. But this one also has the upgraded system of bow hook. So effectively, you want to anchor, you push the bow hook system, which is on the controller down here, and it holds the boat into the wind for you. So you can then drop the anchor and lay the anchor there, or just generally hold it into the wind as you want to. And then we mentioned earlier, separate switch here for the anchor, and then a usual selection of carling switches for all the other bits and pieces in there. And as we look down outside, really easy access, so you can step straight out of this door, through that side deck hatch, onto the pontoon outside. And actually while we're here, look, there's your VHF radio, in case you're wondering. Really nice view forwards, really good visibility, in fact all the way around, and even if we look behind us, look, very good visibility behind. So if we take a step down into the companionway that feeds us into the cabins down below, first thing that really impressed me was this little pantry area. So down in here we have this little area with cupboard in there for food and bits and pieces. There's then a second fridge in here, down there, and then a little sort of, oh, what have I done? There we go. Bit of additional storage in there, but also then access things to the hot water system, screen wash, fire extinguishers, and some of the general plumbing and systems. Which is really nice. This area down here gives you really good headroom. There's a sunshade here, you can see, just to kill a bit of the sun at night. If I just come back up, turn myself around, and then you can see we've got access to the fore cabin, which we'll go into first. Has a separate door. Straight into the fore cabin, you've got this really nice centerline double berth. Steps up both sides, making it really easy for either person to get into bed. Benefiting, as a lot of these modern boats do, from really stylish and practical hull glazing, letting the light flow in. There is, as always, a little cabin hatch up there to get yourself in and out and get some ventilation and extra light if you want to. Cupboards all the way around here, wardrobe in here, like so. And if I do a 360 or 180, I suppose technically, turn myself round, you can see we have another door here, and this is our Jack and Jill access that takes us into the shared heads, but we'll have a look at that from the other door. And the other thing which is impressive, obviously, this is a really big bed, and the great thing about really big beds is underneath they have really good storage. So look at that, a properly lined storage bin for anything you fancy. And the other thing which is really nice, particularly about this boat, if I take a turn around, you'll notice that everywhere is carpeted. But if you look carefully, there's actually wood effect flooring, so you can have the teak, or you can have the wood effect carpeting if you're, you know, got wet feet and you're wandering around, and if it's winter and you want a slightly nicer finish, you've got these really lovely plush carpets in here, and then underneath there we have all our battery switches. So if I take a step back into the pantry, then over here we have that sort of day access to the shared heads. Now it is a shared heads across effectively these two cabins, but it does have, we say, Jack and Jill access, and it also has a separate shower, which is really nice. A beautiful stylish sink. Great the way they've used the white GRP with the dark wood. Nice big hull window there as well. And if I take a step inside here, you'll see we've got a separate shower. I don't know how well you can see this in the video, but there is perspex separator there, perspex door, seat. And if you step inside, there is a hull window, but it's got that shield to blind it off. And then over here you have access to the shower head and the mixer. And then your drain plug just down there. And there's plenty of headroom in there. Actually, one thing I forgot to say is the other thing about the pantry is under here, it's fixed, but under there is access to the back of the dashboard, so it's really easy to gain access to anything if you need to get into the wiring. And then the last cabin we have is the mid cabin here. Again, really good standing headroom, matching the bathroom. There is illumination or illumination would come down through here, but that's covered off. Wardrobe, so you've got a bit of hanging space in there. Little perch seat as you come in. Hull windows on that side. Raised section here, so this is the section that's raised above that dinette in the saloon that we looked at to give us a bit of headroom. Extra storage behind us there, and then we effectively have combination of setups really, but one full-size double bed, and then there's a single bed over there, or a sofa bed over there. But it does also, if we sneak over here, raise up here as well, so So you can see it raises up there, so you've got additional headroom, so you can sit up in bed both sides. Another hull window over there, more storage over there, pocket storage in there. Really, really neat. And then just hidden on the bed here, you can probably see we have the table for the cockpit. Really, really impressive. They've squeezed a ton of room in this boat. So there you go. So that is that. We've obviously looked at the engine, so the last thing we need to do is have a quick peek at the lazarette. So obviously another benefit of having outboard engines is it does free up this space where the engines would normally sit on the older generations when they had inboards. So bear with me while I pull this up. For the sake of it, there is storage under that seat as well. So here we go. Here we now have the lazarette. Down here you can see that is a Seakeeper 2, and the owner of this boat's cleverly had that wired so the solar panels directly feed the batteries down there that then run the Seakeeper. So you can effectively sit on anchor pretty much all day and run the Seakeeper all day. That runs through the Victron Energy battery splitter down there, so you can also charge it on the engines when the engine's running. And then there's a general bit of other space down here, fuel separators down there. You can see engine battery for each engine is the yellow one you can see over there, and the big heavy orange leads I would imagine are the solar charging. So yeah, but tons and tons of space down there for your usual bits and pieces. So I'll drop that back down. Also, thank you very much to the guy who owns this boat for letting us have a look around. Oh, nearly forgot. Webasto warm air heating there as well. So thank you very much to John for letting us have a look around this beautiful boat. It is currently for sale. It's only just over a year old, and it's probably the highest spec one of these you're going to find in the market today. So do please like and subscribe. It makes a massive difference to us on the channel. And I will drop in a video here of the Antares 12 Flybridge, which is a very similar boat. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time round.